Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So if you were drawn to today's reading, then this is a sign that your spirit guides have a message that they would like to share with you right now. I want to leave the format of this reading super open so that your spirit guides can come forward and share whatever messages they feel you need to hear right now in any way they feel you need to hear it. So I don't really have a breakdown for today's reading. So there's not much for me to explain in this intro, so we're just gonna dive into choosing your group. There are 3 groups to choose from today, and for each group we're gonna be using a different tarot deck. I've also placed a different crystal on top of each, and I'm gonna be showing a card from each deck so that you can see what the artwork looks like. And for today's reading, I just shuffled each deck, and whatever card came out first is the one that I'm going to show you. So when you're choosing your group, you could be drawn to the crystal, this back artwork of the decks, the front artwork, the specific card that comes out for you. You may also be drawn to the numbers in your timestamp if you want to check that. So there's a few different factors to help you pick. If you do happen to feel drawn to more than one, 2, maybe even all 3 of the groups today, please feel free to listen to any and all that you feel called to. It could very well be that your guides have messages for you in multiple groups. So this is definitely not a reading where you need to limit yourself to just one group. But without further ado, let's get a close-up look at each of your options. For my group number 1s, we have, I think this is Blue Chalcedony, and we have the Landscapes Tarot. And your card is the Ace of Wands. For my group number 2s, we have Pyrite with Calcite, and we have the Lucid Dreams Tarot. And your card is the 2 of Cups. And for my group number 3s, we have Lepidolite and the Cat Tarot. And your card is the 8 of Swords. Okay, so just in case you need a bit more time to pick, these are all of your options laid out side by side. Our cat has a little bit of glare, so I'm just gonna hold my arm over the light like this so we can see the cat properly. There we go. These are all 3 of your options, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number 1s, so if you guys chose this little blue boy, this is going to be your reading. I just want to thank you and your spirit guides for being here. And I wanted to tell you about the song that came to my mind before I started filming for your group. I swear when I'm doing readings, it's the most random songs coming to my mind that I haven't heard in years. And that's how I know it's a channeled message. And the song that was coming through for you guys is the freaking Nyan Cat song. Such a blast from the past. If you're not familiar with Nyan Cat, it's adorable. It's just an animation on a loop of a pixelated cat, and its body is a Pop-Tart, and it's just frolicking along through the sky without a care in the world, and there's a trail of rainbow behind it, and it's like singing a happy little song. And it seemed random at first, but I think it could be a representation of the energy you're moving into, because when I think of that little cat, I think of a carefree energy, a playful energy, just a happy and cheerful energy, and also of being in the flow. So I think this is the energy that you are moving into. Okay, we are gonna look at these cards. We have some oracle cards and 1 tarot card, and see if we can figure out the main topic of what your spirit guides want to talk to you about. So we are starting with the Earth Rat, number 25, with the message, change your mindset. There's just a crow cawing outside too. I don't know if you could hear them. We have Metatron with the message, divine intelligence. And more crows. Okay, crows could be significant for you. Amazonite with life purpose. And we have Temperance. This came out in the upright position. The keywords are perfecting balance, union of opposites, moderation, purposeful, harmony, tranquil, patience, alchemy, balance, and peace. So funny, when I saw the keyword moderation, I was like, isn't that a Normani song? But it's motivation. So that song, Motivation, could also be significant for you. Okay, the month of April could be significant as well, because this diamond is the birthstone of the month of April. So someone born in April could be significant, or the next month of April, from whenever you are watching, something big could be happening. I do get the sense that you're about to shift into a very exciting energy. We have divine intelligence and life purpose. So you're definitely on the right path. Your life purpose is really shaping up. You're achieving a perfect balance in your life as well. The things that you may be struggling right now to achieve balance in, your guides want you to know that it's going to get easier. It's not always going to feel frustrating like this. It's not always going to feel overwhelming like this. So, for example, maybe you are struggling to find balance in your routine, in your schedule, or you're struggling to find balance with boundaries, like time for yourself versus time invested in others, in your relationships. Some balance that you're having a hard time achieving right now, it's not always going to be that way. In quite the near future, it is going to come as a second nature to you. So it just takes a little bit more patience and a little bit more time to figure it out. You may be in a period right now, I mean, we should always be patient and gentle with ourselves, but you may be requiring just a little bit more gentleness and a little bit more kindness. The things that you are talking about will come to pass. That's also coming through. I see you maybe journaling or talking to a loved one about your plans for the future, what you want to make happen. And your guides want you to know that all of that is going to come to pass. Conversations that you have about your hopes and dreams. It's like everything you're saying, you are writing the story of your future. It's going to become a reality. You may actually be channeling wisdom from your higher self. What might feel like, oh, I'm just talking about my plans and what I want to happen. You're channeling something your higher self knows about the future. There's a feeling of speaking your dream life into existence. With this Change Your Mindset card, this is likely the advice that your guides have for you right now. And the main message of this card is to see if you can look at your limitations in a different way. See if you can look at your limitations as an opportunity. That might take a little bit of creativity or resourcefulness. And for some reason, this is making me think of a situation where you have to create something, but you're only given limited materials. And you might think that that's going to restrict your creativity, but it will actually increase your creativity because you have to just take what's in front of you and find a way to make it work. That will actually be a testament to how creative you are rather than a hindrance. There's also something about if you had too much, there could be decision paralysis or decision fatigue. Another example that's coming to my mind is music, just because I'm a musician and it's very easy for me to think in this way. But please apply it to your own situation. If a musician had to make a song with only one sample, you might think, oh my gosh, I'm so limited. I'm not going to be able to do something interesting. I'm not going to be able to showcase my skills. But what you can do with one sample is insane. You can make anything out of a sample with a little bit of resourcefulness, with a little bit of thinking outside the box. The way your gifts will be showcased in the way that you work with the limited resources that you have. And that will actually be a lot more impressive, I'm hearing. Like, you made all this with one sample? You made all this with 3 ingredients? That's amazing. Something you think is hindering you is actually going to make you shine even more. Because you yourself or other people are really going to see your craftiness and your genius. And the more you have could actually hinder you more. The more you have, you start to lose direction, or there starts to be too many options. And then that just makes you lost and overwhelmed. There's something about limitations actually being your friend during this time. And how you work within those limitations is really going to prove your genius. I hope that that makes sense. We're going to get into the tarot now and see what else your guides want you to know. Some of you could be going on a long distance trip soon, or you could be relocating to a faraway place. You also need to know the travel is going to be worth it. That's what I'm hearing. Let's say, for example, you get an opportunity, but then you're debating whether it's worth it to go because it's quite far away. It takes a long time to get there. It's worth the trek. It's worth the journey over there. So don't let the distance or the commuting time or something like that scare you away from an opportunity. Maybe you get a dream job that takes a bit longer to commute or something, and your guides are saying it's totally going to be worth it. There are certain, just looking at this rat, sometimes really big blessings come with minor inconveniences or minor discomforts. And it's okay because it's all going to be worth it. In the grand scheme of things, those inconveniences are not going to be that big of a deal. You may need to sacrifice a little bit of your comforts. Okay, that might be another balance you're finding. A balance between preserving your energy and sacrificing little things here and there to welcome bigger blessings. What else do your guides want you to know? Sagittarius energy could be significant as well with this Temperance card. Sagittarius and Aries energy. What else do your guides want you to know? Ooh, okay. We have the Magician. That's very interesting to me because the card that came out for you in the intro was also a 1. It was the Ace of Wands. So you're definitely entering into a new era. It's the beginning of a new, very exciting chapter in your life. We have the 10 of Swords. The 7 of Swords. Okay. And and the Five of Wands. At the bottom of the deck, we have the World. Interesting that we were talking about relocating to a faraway place or going on a long distance trip, and then we have the World here. So that could be a confirmation for many of you. You could be traveling to the other side of the world. There's also something about globalizing or expanding to a global or international scale. So in work, that could be working with international clients or gaining an international audience or following, entering into relationships or partnerships with people overseas. There's a feeling of kind of expanding globally. Or if you're at the beginning of a journey, professional or creative, this could be a piece of advice from your spirit guides to aim for global success or aim for global recognition, as opposed to focusing everything on just one market, on just one location, if that makes sense. There was a specific message coming through here. You are definitely entering into a new beginning, and there is a sort of leveling up of leveling up of your lifestyle and of your status, but most importantly, a personal leveling up in which you are finally allowing your full potential to shine through. Group number one, I feel like you've been holding back in some way. You have not unleashed the beast that is your talent fully on the world yet. You haven't done it to them just yet. I'm thinking of that meme, I had to do it to them, but you haven't done it just yet. You haven't unleashed the full beast yet. There's more where that came from. And I think the ushering in of this new era has a lot to do with you just not holding back anymore. And maybe it has to do with not being afraid of judgment, not being afraid of like trial and error and making mistakes and being imperfect. That's when you can really, because you have a creative genius about you, and fear stifles creativity and fear stifles genius. So once you get over that fear and you just let it fly like the Nyan cat, that's when you're really going to start blowing the world away. You've been holding back, group number one, but not anymore. This leveling up is going to put you in a new environment with new people. And there was a specific message about don't fall into the trap of worrying about a space that you've already left behind. So just for example, let's say you left a job and you've moved on to a new job that is much better for you. Why would you still be worrying what your old boss thinks about you or what your old coworkers think about you? You're not there anymore. It's irrelevant. Or if you enter into a new relationship and you're still worrying what your ex thinks of you, there's an energy like that. Being trapped by thoughts of what some environment or some people think of you, but it's of the past. It's like we're not there anymore. It could be, your guide said something like, actually a lot of people fall into this trap. Okay, another example is like someone who was bullied in school and then they become a world famous superstar. And still, they're like, take that, high school bullies. It's like, you haven't been in high school in a decade. Why are we still worried about your bullies? Yet maybe there's a time for things to come full circle and you get your closure and you heal from the experience. And yes, maybe there's a little bit of satisfaction of like sticking it to those people who didn't believe in you. But at some point, you have to move on from it. So there's some message here about be careful you don't fall into that trap of like, yes, you've moved into a new environment, but is part of your mind stuck thinking about the same old people and the same old dynamics and the same old environments because it's irrelevant now. The Ten of Swords, it feels like something needs to end, but it's being artificially prolonged. Maybe even some of you could be holding on out of a sense of obligation. Like, I still need to worry about these people. I hope they're not upset with me. I hope I don't need to make something up to them. And your guides are saying, no, they moved on. It's okay. They moved on and so should you. So that's what this is. Embrace the new environment. Embrace your new chapter as this magician, because you are now the architect of your new life. And you don't have to bring this old energy with you. I feel like that's what the Seven of Swords is talking about as well. Even if I really don't think people from your past are thinking about you the way you might worry that they are. I think they've moved on. This feels like imagining conflict when it's not there. For some of you, it could be the other way around, where another person has beef with you, but it's in their head. Like, I'm thinking of, oh my gosh. Oh, it's called Never Play. Meg Thee Stallion and RM. And one of the lines in that song is, beefing with yourself because you do not exist in my world. So it could be the other way around for some of you, where a person from your past still has beef with you in their own head, and they're making up this scenario where, like, you're still mad at them and you're still pressed about what happened and you're still triggered by them, and it's like, actually, I'm not thinking about you at all. So, you know, it could be on your end where you're struggling to move on. It could be somebody else struggling to move on from some conflict that happened between the two of you. But I think your guides are bringing this message to you because it's like, this is the new era, and we really, for the sake of everybody, we don't have to be bringing, and it's like nonsense. And I don't say that to belittle what happened, but I think to keep dragging it out after all this time, we don't need to bring that old energy with us. So if you feel like there's something if you feel like there's something you can do right now that would help bring you closure, or that would help you move on, or that would help someone else move on, maybe now is a good time to do it in a kind of speak now or forever hold your peace way. If there's something you can do that will help you bring that closure and let it go, now is a good time to do it. But if there's nothing concrete, nothing realistic that you can really do, and you're just playing something over and over in your head, like, it's time to let it go. Some of you could be holding a past mistake of yours in your head over and over and over again. And it's like, you've already talked to this person, you've already apologized to them, and, you know, just holding on to that guilt indefinitely is only hurting you. Or worrying about if some ex is upset at you, or if some ex still thinks this or that. Realistically, are you gonna reach out to them? No? Okay, then we move on. So your guides are being a little bit, not blunt, but direct. Of like, my dear, we gotta let some things go. We gotta just leave some things in the past. Because the train is leaving to your new era. You gotta go. And we cannot take all the baggage. It won't fit. Okay, so we are going to look at a few more oracle cards for some final messages and advice from your guides. We have cold moon, face your fears. Okay, this is making me think of cold feet. 2222, as I'm holding up this card, interesting. Maybe there is someone we need to confront or have an honest conversation with so we can tie up loose ends and move into the new era. There could be quite a big opportunity coming in your near future that you don't feel ready for. You will need to discern what feelings of being afraid and unprepared actually come from a lack of practice or a lack of experience, and what is simply coming from a fear of failure or a fear of judgment. An overarching theme of this reading when it comes to your fears is recognizing which of your fears can actually be resolved with action and which of your fears are kind of just torturing you, if I'm being honest. Like, for example, if you're afraid that someone is upset with you, is that something that can be solved through action? Yes, well, maybe you can reach out to them. Maybe you can have an honest conversation with them. If you've done that and you're still afraid, at that point, it becomes a fear that is just torturing you and that needs to be let go. I think there's a piece of advice from your spirit guides of asking yourself, like when you're sitting with a fear or an insecurity or an uncomfortable emotion, is there something that I can actually practically do about this? Is this something I can solve with action? Is this something I can move through? And if the answer is no, it may be an irrational fear or a fear that's not really serving you and your ego is just holding on to it for some reason to keep you stuck, to keep you from moving forward, to keep you in a comfort zone. We have the goddess of water with the number 24. So interesting that we have the numbers 24 and 25. Those could be significant ages for some of you, or something happening on the 24th or the 25th of a month. It could also be the years 2024 and 2025. You're someone who is capable of living in your heart and living in love. I think your guides are just reminding you of the goodness of your heart and the goodness of your intentions. You are not someone who goes around intentionally trying to hurt people. And yet, you may judge yourself harshly for your mistakes. As long as we are alive, we're gonna make mistakes sometimes. As long as we're alive, we're gonna do things that hurt others sometimes. And are you, group number ones, are you like holding something over your own head, some feelings of guilt or shame? Because your guides really want to remind you, like, you have a good heart, you are a good person, you have good intentions. Any mistakes that you may have made in the past were not intentional, they were not malicious. And it's like someone else has moved on, and it's time that you move on too. It's time that you forgive yourself too. Because you're dragging out some judgment of yourself or dragging out some pain, and it's not fair to you. We have, oh, interesting, after that message to have the keyword resolution. It's time for some conflict to resolve. And the conflict, it feels like it just exists inside yourself at this point. Like maybe you think someone is upset with you or someone has a grudge, and that's not the case at all. The past haunts me. Literally, that's what we've been talking about. The trigger statement of this card, the past haunts me. The true statement, in this moment I am free. Let yourself be the one to heal the wounds passed down from your ancestors. The release and growth begins with you. Maybe this feeling of needing to hold on to that burden to make everything right, or holding on to shame, that could be something from childhood, that could be something generational. Feeling like I'm the one who needs to fix everything. We also have a spirit cat card for you to finish off the messages. And we have balance, which, okay, temperance, perfecting balance, and balance here. Meet Varro Tiptoe Sky. She can balance perfectly with an inner precision and assurance. She leans one way and then the other, constantly adjusting and learning where her center lies. She understands the dichotomies, work and play, togetherness and solitude, inner reflection and outward expression, striving and letting go, accepting and changing, freedom and discipline, reason and intuition, spiritual expansion and grounding. They go on and on. Let Varro help you to see what areas of your life are out of balance and what shifts you can make to return to a graceful equilibrium. I love this card because it shows so many examples of the dichotomies that we may struggle to find balance in our lives. And there was that message at the start of the reading that anything you're currently having a hard time finding balance in, it's not going to be hard forever. Soon it's going to feel like a second nature to you. So reading through this list, I won't read through the whole thing again, but if any of these are standing out to you and you're like, yeah, I do have a really hard time finding the perfect balance between those two dichotomies, or the two, how do you say that? Is work and play one dichotomy? I think so. If you're reading any of these thinking, yes, I have a hard time finding balance in that dichotomy, then your guides want you to know this is not going to last forever. I do think there is a bit more time and a bit more gentleness required. And it's not a balance that you can force yourself to find, but just as you move through the discomfort, it's all going to fall into place and you're going to figure it out. I also think that releasing feelings of guilt could be very helpful in finding your perfect balance. For example, work and play. Many of us can feel motivated to work out of guilt. So if you're struggling to find the perfect balance and then you release those feelings of guilt, that's like, I have to work more, I have to do more. As soon as that guilt is gone, it's going to be so much easier to settle into that balance that is right for you, that is good for your body, that is good for your mind, because you don't have that distortion. Your guilt distorts things and makes the correct balance look different than what it really is. Togetherness and solitude, striving and letting go, free reason and intuition. Oh my gosh, so many of these I feel are affected by guilt in our lives. Like guilt makes us feel like we should be more on one side than the other and can really mess up our idea of what is a good balance for us. Releasing feelings of guilt is a big one for my group number ones, and you deserve to. Now that Nyan cat at the beginning is so much more emotional because you deserve to be carefree like that. You deserve to be cheerful and frolicking like that. And when you're holding on to guilt, that's really, really difficult. You have a good heart and you have good intentions, and you've done so much good for people in your life. You've done so much to help others and to uplift others. And you just may have a bias that rather makes you focus on the few mistakes that you have made or the few ways in which you have hurt others, and that is so unfair to you. And others aren't looking at you in the same way, for what it's worth, right? How you view yourself is the most important, but perhaps knowing that others don't view you in that way could help to bring a little bit more objectivity in the way you view yourself and the goodness of your heart. So group number one, those are all of the messages that I have for you. So I want to thank your guides for coming through and facilitating these messages. And thank you so much for allowing me to do this reading for you. I'm getting hit with the very strong smell of a pool right now, like a chlorine pool. That might be significant for someone. Maybe it's like a childhood memory or a sign of going on a vacation. I'm not sure, but I just wanted to mention that. Yeah, thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where we now have over 100 exclusive timeless pick a card readings to watch. They are just like the ones here on my channel. Plus we have 2 new ones every month and you can choose the topic for those. So I'm going to have that link down below. My music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, your higher self, anyone who appeared in this reading, their higher self, and your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Hi number 2s. So if you guys chose the Pyrite with Calcite, this is going to be your reading. The very first energy coming through for this group is an energy of clairvoyance. So for those of you who already frequently practice using this gift, that could be a confirmation that this is your group, or this could even be a message from your spirit guides that clairvoyance is a gift that you will be strengthening over the next little while. The reason I say that clairvoyance is coming through strongly is because there's two intuitive messages that are coming through for you before we get into the cards, and both of them are visuals. So I think this is my group of strong clairvoyance. The first visual that came to my mind was of 2 companions, 2 loved ones hiking in the woods. And it's a beautiful day. You can see the sunlight coming through the tree branches. You can hear birds chirping. Is idyllic the right word? It looks beautiful. And these 2 people stop in the woods and just take a moment to take a breath and take it all in. And then they're like eating some snacks to fuel them along the way. And this could be a literal image that rings a bell for you, but I do think this is metaphorical of not always being concerned with charging forward and going farther and farther, but really taking a moment to just stop and take it all in and appreciate how far you've come and appreciate your surroundings and also appreciate who you're with. I think the main message of this is that at the end of the day, it's not just about the destination. It's not just about what you've achieved, but the thing that's going to bring you the most joy is who you did it with. Imagine at the end of your life, that's kind of dramatic, but at the end of your career, let's say, you look back on that long journey and yes, you've accomplished so many things, but there's this feeling of realizing your happiest memories are like the laughter that you shared with your loved ones, or how your bond deepened as you moved through the challenges and the adversities, and those late night talks, how you opened up to each other, how you leaned on each other. I see you in this energy of really cherishing human connection and prioritizing that. That could be an energy you're already in or something that you are moving into. And I do see you feeling quite sentimental. Maybe that's why you were drawn to the 2 of Cups in the intro, because I do feel like that's quite a 2 of Cups kind of energy. And then there was another visual that was a woman who was like gold from head to toe, like gold hair, gold jewelry, gold dress. She looked very confident, very opulent. And what came to my mind when I saw this visual is that this could actually be representing a statue, or it could be a human, it could be a deity, it could even be a depiction of your spirit guide. But it was just this dazzling gold woman that came to my mind. 333 as I'm saying that, which is Empress energy, divine feminine. Maybe that's even like a visual embodiment of your divine feminine energy. Just so brilliant and radiant and literally golden. I love it. The last thing before we get into the cards, there is a message about you visiting a place that you have been before that doesn't have the same magic anymore. You have memories of this place feeling so magical, but when you revisit after some time, it doesn't have the same effect on you. And you realize that the magic was never in that place per se, but it was in your own mind and in your own perception of it. The magic was actually in you. Okay, so I think that's everything for now for the intuitive messages. We are going to get into the cards, but I'm going to open the window because this camera, she has a hard time with the temperature. I bought a dummy battery for her and then I left it at my dad's house. So we're just gonna have to open the window for her and let some of that cold air in. And also I get hot when I'm channeling. Okay, enough about that. Enough about the nonsense. Baby girl, take a shot, clear your conscience. Not a goon or a goblin, I'm a monster. That's Pitbull. Okay, anyway. That's a really good song. Okay, for my group number 2s, your first card is Earth Tiger, breaking through the barrier with the number 15. We have Metatron with Mercy. I'm thinking of merci, like thank you in French. Hematite with Grounding. And we have the Ace of Wands in reverse. Needing an outlet. Inception, emerging ideas, bubbling under the surface. Many ideas, lacking direction. So we do have this message, but we also have grounding and breaking through the barrier. So there is, how do you describe that energy? I don't know if there's an English word for that. Maybe feeling restless, feeling frustrated, like I have a concept of an idea, but I can't seem to ground it. This could especially be the case for those of you who are creatives. Like I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue, or I can tell that there's some idea ruminating under here, but I can't seem to bring it out of me. For some of you, this could be about grounding downloads or insights from your guides and your higher self. It's like I can see sort of abstractly what you're trying to tell me, but it's hard to ground it in the 3D. It's hard to apply it to my life. And I think that this reading is about something finally clicking. So many of you who chose this group, you're about to have a breakthrough in your creative process where like finally the juices are starting to flow, or finally you get a clear vision. Some of you have maybe been working on something that until now is kind of lacking direction. It's lacking cohesiveness, I'm hearing. You're like, okay, the beginning is like this and the middle is like this and the end is like this, but it feels disjointed. And how do I make this become one cohesive work? And something's finally clicking to bring it all together. Or you're piecing together different messages that you've received from readings, from meditations, and it's like I have this, it's like feels like an itching feeling of I feel like this is all trying to tell me something, but I can't put my finger on it. And I think that this reading is talking about a breakthrough of clarity. This reading could also be about getting out of a rut, getting out of a stagnant situation. The earth energy in these cards does tend to talk about barriers and obstacles and heavy energy, especially the yang earth cards, which I believe the tiger is. It's also the number 15, which relates to the devil. So there is a feeling for many of my group number 2s of having felt stuck because there are certain things you've been experiencing or catching glimpses of energetically that you have been unable to ground. Looking at this image, the way this feels like a spirit guide, and then this feels like you. And when they're touching your head, it's like they're transmitting some kind of information to you. I'm also hearing spring and summer. And I'm tasting alcohol, which could be literal, or it could be like something is removing your inhibitions, or something is allowing you to think outside the box. We're overcoming some mental barriers or overcoming miscommunication as well. The way this tiger is looking over the edge of the cliff, it makes me think of clarity in vision. Something's coming together and something's becoming cohesive. So in a certain area of your life where you've felt like you've been just doing whatever, I'm hearing, like I'm just doing whatever, I'm just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks, maybe feeling like you're lacking direction or lacking a clear strategy, that's going to be changing. And you're going to be entering into an energy where you have laser sharp focus and you know exactly what you're doing. For some of you, this could be like a study plan. It could be so many things, like a study plan where you're like, I don't think I'm studying in the most effective way. I'm just doing whatever. I'm just doing random stuff. Now you have a clear study plan, a consistent routine. You know what you're doing and why you're doing it. This could be about getting healthy. This could be about saving money. We're moving out of an energy of just randomly trying things to see what sticks to having a clear plan and being, okay, this is it. You would be able to explain to someone who came up to you and asked you, why did you choose that approach? What's your process? You'll be like, oh, let me tell you. I chose this process very deliberately because blah, 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 blah. I'm thinking about myself mixing music because I feel like I still can't do that. Which, you know what? Doing things intuitively is very good and improvising is very good. Like if you have that skill, that's amazing. But I think it's also going to feel really, really good to know that someone could come up to you and be like, I see that you just made that change. Why did you do that? And you're able to explain, I did this intentionally for that exact effect because I know what I'm doing, you know, rather than always just being in this energy of like, oh, I'm just trying things. And sometimes that just takes time and experience, right? But something about that feels really, really good. Like your skills are grounding themselves, or the things that you have learned up until now are grounding themselves, and you're advancing to a next level. It just being able to understand, I'm hearing the mechanism behind things. I'm even seeing examples related to your body where, like for example, when I struggled with anxiety, there were certain things that I tried a lot of things and figured out what would calm me down, but it feels really good when you learn why those things work and then you can do them more intentionally and actually understand what is happening in your body that makes you calm down. It doesn't just feel like this random thing you're doing and I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but all I know is that it works. It's like you're becoming more informed about the process behind it. I really hope that that makes sense. So feeling more in control, more intentional with your actions. I know what I'm doing and I know what result it's going to bring. Rather than having to just take shots in the dark and like, I hope it works out, which is really, really nice. This could even be for manifestation. Finding a method that really works for you and understanding why it really works for you and being able to recreate the result that you want over and over again. Like there's so much awareness and intentionality in it. Okay, so we're gonna get into the tarot now and see what else your guides want you to know. We have the High Priestess in the upright. She did come out in the reverse at first, and I didn't use reversals for group 1, but I'm wondering if I should for this group, because you do have keywords for the different orientations. In the reverse, she says blocked intuition, clouded insight, doubt, secrets, cognitive dissonance, disconnect, superficiality, confusion, hidden motives. In the upright, she says intuition, mystery, sacred knowledge, divine feminine, inner knowing, subconscious spirituality, higher power, and inner voice. I do think this reading is about you reconnecting to your sacred knowledge, to your subconscious, to your inner voice, your divine guidance, and your divine feminine energy, which came out at the very start with that image of the golden woman. We have the Ace of Wands, repetition, new project, inspiration, ignited passion, new opportunities, growth, potential, energy, creative spark, new initiative, and enthusiasm. So there's a new spark and a new creative inspiration coming into your life that I think is a direct result of slowing down and tuning into your inner world. You are your own inspiration. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. This is a really beautiful message because I was going to say you get inspiration from inside yourself rather than getting it from the outside world. And then I immediately thought about that message of you going to a place. It's like, imagine you got inspiration from a beautiful place to write a poem. And your spirit guides are saying, yes, the place is beautiful, but what's really beautiful is your mind. You're the one who went to that place and then inspired yourself to write something beautiful about that place. Someone else could go to that very same place and come up with nothing. Or be like, this place is okay. It's you who have the beautiful mind to see the beauty in that place. What was that? Did you hear that? That was like a big bang outside. That is a testament to the beauty of your mind. The place didn't inspire you, you inspired yourself. You cannot come up with any ideas that aren't you. You cannot talk of any beauty that doesn't already exist inside of you. The beauty is in you to write something so amazing about this place. That's kind of what your guides want to tell you. Any beauty you see in the world exists inside yourself. And they want you to think about when you're getting inspired that you're actually drawing it out of yourself, out of some source inside yourself, rather than having to rely on some external stimuli to get it. No, that fountain, that source is in you. And it could never run out, I'm hearing. So don't worry about it running out. They're also saying something like, the idea that you have run out of inspiration is an illusion. And they're challenging you. How can I say this? Maybe it's easier to give an example. Let's use the example of a poet again. And they haven't written poems in a while. And they're like, oh my gosh, my creative source has dried up. I'm no longer inspired. And your guides are saying that is an illusion that you may be holding because you are placing this expectation that your inspiration appears in a certain way. Maybe you're not supposed to. Maybe the inspiration inside of you is not about writing poems right now, or maybe it's about writing a different kind of poem. But if you're sat placing this expectation on, I have to write a poem about this waterfall and nothing's coming, that doesn't mean you're not inspired. There's something here about falsely thinking you have no more creative juices or you have no more inspiration, but it's because you're placing an expectation for the inspiration to come out in a certain way or to be about a certain thing. And I'm hearing like widening your search. You know when you search something in a search engine and nothing comes up, so you widen your search? I think there's a need to do that. I'm also thinking of my friend Cindy, who is a Mourinette on YouTube. She's a fellow tarot reader and an amazing artist and musician. And I met her in Jakarta a few months ago, and we were talking about burnout. And she was saying that for her, burnout doesn't come from working too much. It comes from having to do the same work all the time. So if her work becomes too monotonous, she will get burnt out. If she's doing a lot of work, but there's variety, then she doesn't get burnt out. I don't know, I just felt like saying that right now. And you can find inspiration in unexpected places. And it's really all about your mind. You know, someone could write a heartfelt ballad about a Simpsons episode or something. Like, it's not about where you get the inspiration from. It's about the brilliance of your mind. You can turn anything into anything else with the power of your mind. Maybe there's something about alchemy there. What else do group number 2's guides want them to know? We have death. So interesting that I was just talking about alchemy, and then we have the Scorpio card and the death card, which is all about things changing shape and things being transmuted. So you could be reinventing yourself right now. Symbolic death and rebirth, big changes. Time to move on, transformation, transition, endings, letting go, release, starting anew. You're transmuting something, group number 2. Maybe the gold woman, there's a message of like, I really think that's representing an aspect of you, but I was thinking about the Midas touch and like everything you touch. Yeah, that's literally you. Everything you touch turns into gold. So I kind of see, and I think it's no mistake that you were drawn to the pyrite and to the deck with the gold foiling. It's like everything you touch turns into gold. It's like if you had this stone and you touched it and it turned into gold, and then you're going, oh my gosh, this stone is amazing, look at it, it just turned into gold. And it's like, well, who touched it when it turned into gold? Because I think it was you. It's like you're giving the stone credit for what you did to it with your touch. And don't get me wrong, it's important to be grateful to the stone, but don't discredit your own talent, because you're doing the gold changing. You're the one who's alchemizing and turning it into something beautiful. And you can do that with anything. You can find inspiration anywhere. There's really a message about like feeling a lack of inspiration. It's like looking for it in the wrong place or looking for it in a specific thing rather than realizing you can find it everywhere. Okay, let's get one more card, and then we're also going to take the bottom of the deck energy. We have, ooh, okay, we have the Lovers. So you had the Two of Cups in the intro, now you have the Lovers, and we have a mirroring number on the camera timer, 2442. So there could be something about mirroring souls, or again, this is indicating the importance of connections and relationships for you right now. Divine love, deep soul connection, choice, harmony, relationships, value alignment, unions, balance, unity, and romance. Maybe we're kind of changing the subject, or maybe for you this is all tying in to the same thing going on in your life, but I feel like there's a message with this Lovers card to think about the few people in your life whom you spend the most time with, that you've been, I'm hearing like that you've been walking this path with, and take stock of, are we still on the same page? And I want to be clear, this message is not really coming across to me as one of those like, should I keep this person in my life or not? You can definitely claim it that way if it feels right, but this doesn't feel like an energy of who do I need to let go of? It feels more like a, which of my relationships needs a little work right now? Which of my relationships, like who do I need to check in with? Because there could be one person or maybe a few people in your life right now where you're, yeah, like those two people hiking that I saw at the start of the reading. You may be hiking together, but you may both have a different idea of where you want to end up. Maybe one of you is thinking, I want to get to the top of the mountain before dark so we can watch the sunset. And then another one of you is thinking, I want to look at the wildlife and I want to take my time and take a lot of pictures. So it's like, if you have different goals, you got to talk about it. And maybe there's a conversation that's being avoided about that. And again, this is not like, oh, we have different goals, we can't hike together anymore. It doesn't feel like that. It actually doesn't feel like any connections need to be ended or moved on from right now. Again, if you do feel like you need to walk away from someone, disregard that message. I don't want to tell you to stay in a connection if it's not healthy for you. But I don't get that feeling for most of my group number twos. I think you have wonderful people in your life that you will continue to grow with. I heard grow old with, interesting. But we still need to check in with each other and make sure that we're on the same page and that we want the same things so that there's no misunderstandings or miscommunications or confusions or disappointments in the future. You know, why are you walking so fast? Slow down. What? I thought we were trying to make it to the top for the sunset. No, I want to, well, you should have said something. You know, it feels something like that. And I think we're avoiding this conversation because maybe it's uncomfortable. We know, under the surface, we know that we're kind of wanting different. Maybe we're afraid to talk about it because we're afraid, what if we start talking about it and then it comes to the conclusion that we have to part ways? I'm using this hiking analogy a lot, but what if we start talking about it and then it comes down to, we can't hike together anymore. Well, I don't want that. It's like, I'm afraid of parting ways with you. I'm afraid of losing you. But you need to trust that the bond is strong enough that you can openly talk about your differing goals and your differing vision and your differing opinions. You can talk through your disagreements and you're still going to love each other and you're still going to choose each other. And even better, you can probably find a way to compromise. So those conversations can't be avoided anymore. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the moon. Illusion, hidden, subconscious, the unseen, the unknown, fears, trusting intuition, uncertainty, confusion, secrets, and complex. The moon, it talks about these things that are hidden behind the scenes, that are below the surface, that maybe we're afraid to bring up because of fear. But I feel like whatever's hidden in your subconscious, group number 2, it's not as scary as you might think it is. There's some energy here of avoiding a truth because you're afraid of what acknowledging that truth means. And it's not going to be anything scary or anything bad. I've seen this, I guess it's a quote. If something can be destroyed by the truth, it deserves to be destroyed by the truth. I think I agree with that. There's probably some nuance there that we could unpack, but we're afraid that a truth is going to destroy something, but it's actually going to make something stronger. I'm afraid if I honestly say how I feel, then it's going to push this person away. When the reality is, honestly saying how you feel is going to bring you closer. I do feel like for many of you, this is about relationships. Like facing the truth about a difference in views of where this relationship is going, or a difference in what we want for the future. Could be about a creative vision as well, because we had a lot of creative energy in this group. I'm imagining like if you're collaborating with someone and you have a bit of a different vision, and you can kind of tell that there's some friction, but you just don't address it because you think it's going to offend the other person, or they're not going to like your idea and you're afraid of judgment. But if you disagree with something or someone, you should say it, because it's going to open up a discussion and it's going to strengthen some bond. And you have to trust that your bond is strong enough to, I think that's what that expression wants to say. If something deserves to be destroyed by the truth, it should be. Because do you really want to be in a friendship, in a relationship, in a collaboration, whatever it is, where something so simple as disagreeing is going to make your relationship fall apart? What kind of relationship is that if you can't differ on some things? Or if you can't want different things sometimes? That's no relationship to be healthy in. So don't be afraid of the truth. If something's good for you and if something's meant to be in your life, the truth will strengthen it. If something's not meant to be in your life, the truth will erode it. The things that are meant to be in your life will always be supported by the truth, by your truth. Okay, so finally, we are going to look at some oracle cards for any last messages and advice from your guides. That's so funny. We're just talking about things that are meant to be in your life. And then we have moon called meant to be. This is reminding me of the 3 of Cups with the 3 people here. So I think the people who are in your life, your current friends, loved ones, people of interest, they are meant to be in your life. And I think you need to trust that. You need to trust that they're going to stay by your side, and that, and I keep hearing this message of growing old together. Group number 2, I think you have found the core members of your soul family, whether you are really close with them at the time of listening to this reading, or you're trying to get close to them. Maybe you just know of them. Maybe you've just started interacting with them, but I think you have found or identified them, the core members of your soul family. For those of you who just started to feel drawn to something new or someone new or somewhere new recently, I think this is your guides confirming to you that it is meant to be. So pay attention to those longings and pay attention to where you feel drawn to. We have, okay, I think this is a bit different from the Goddess of Water, because group number 1 had the Goddess of Water card. I'm just gonna look up this word. Oh, I knew that. Priestess. You have the High Priestess here, and then this is like the priestess, the High Priestess of Water, I could call her. And it says that you are a healer of the heart. And we have receptivity. Lots of divine feminine energy. The Golden Woman, the High Priestess, the Moon, the Water Priestess, the Heart Healer, receptivity. It feels very divine feminine. The trigger statement is, I am guarded. The true statement is, my heart is open. This is a time for you to receive new information. Open your heart to receive it. The more we go through these messages, it really feels like there's a need to have a heart-to-heart with a special someone in your life, or with a group of people in your life, to make sure that you're on the same page. And if you're not, to find some way to compromise and to work through that. And this is a time to be really vulnerable and open about what you truly desire. And to also be open about disappointments, or maybe open about a grief for things in the past that didn't work out. It's okay to wish things had turned out differently. And admitting that could feel very cathartic. You've spent so much time in an energy of, well, this is how things turned out. I just got to be grateful for what did go right and what I did receive, and I just got to keep it pushing. I just got to keep moving forward. It is what it is. I feel like you've been in an energy of it is what it is. And it's okay. It's encouraged to open up and be vulnerable and talk about how you wish things had gone. It's okay to long for a time in the past. It's okay to wish things were the way they were before. It doesn't always have to just be like, oh, well, it is what it is. Let's move forward. It's okay to acknowledge those feelings of disappointment or grief. And maybe the people close to you feel the same way, and you don't have to be strong. I had a kind of heart-to-heart like this with someone recently. Now that I'm thinking about it, I was so afraid of admitting that I was stressed out. I was so afraid of admitting that things were getting hard and that things felt better before. But then when I opened up, they felt the exact same way. And now we're like very openly leaning on each other and talking about what we're going through. And just knowing that someone else is feeling the same way, it takes so much of the emotional burden away. Even if we can't fix it for each other, like, I feel like it is what it is. Maybe that is a good philosophy, but only after you've been honest about your grievances of like, I'm disappointed it turned out this way. Otherwise, it just feels like toxic positivity or something. I don't know. All right, so finally, we are going to look at your spirit cat, Peace. Meet Serena. That's a beautiful name. She will guide you to the sanctuary at the center of your being, the place of stillness in the midst of the overflowing river of life. She knows the language of forgiveness and acceptance. If you are quiet for a moment and let your heart soften and open, she can teach you these true words so that you may rest your mind in the abode of peace. We cannot control the actions of others, but our perspectives, our feelings, and our choices remain in our power. Choose to be at peace even as you work towards resolution, evolution, and change. That's a perfect message to close off this reading. And this cat is so cute. I feel like I don't even have anything to add to that because it sums everything up so perfectly. So those are all the messages I have for my group number 2s. I want to thank your guide so much for facilitating these messages, and thank you so much for allowing me to do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where we now have over 100 timeless, exclusive pick a card readings, just like the ones here on my channel. And we also have 2 new ones every month, and you can choose the topic for those. So I will have that link down below. And my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, your higher self, anyone who appeared in this reading, and their higher self, and of course your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye! Hi number 3s, so if you guys chose the Lepidolite, this is going to be your reading. Before I started filming your group, I was just thinking about how Lepidolite contains lithium, and then I started to think about the song Lithium by Evanescence, so that song could be significant somehow, or just Evanescence in general. I thought I would mention that. But let's get into your reading. I want to thank you for being here, and thank you to your spirit guides for being here as well. We are going to start off with these cards to see if we can figure out what it is that your guides want to talk to you about today. So first we have Water Dog with the number 59 and Play with the Waves. We have Zafkiel with Romance. Moonstone with Cycles. And the Four of Cups, this is in the upright position. Self-serving disinterest, missed opportunities, bored, dissatisfaction, unmotivated, depression, reluctant, and weary. Okay. Group number 3s, you may be going through a bit of a dark time or dealing with heavy energies right now. And you need to know that that's not going to last forever. I know that when you're in the thick of it, it can feel like it's going to last forever and that you'll never see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I promise you that you will. No dark night can last forever. The sun has to rise. We have 2 cards which talk about a temporary situation. This Water Dog, Play with the Waves, this talks about embracing the fluctuations of life, embracing the ups and downs, and finding the joy and finding the light wherever you are. And then we also have this Cycles card, which is talking about the seasons of life. Even the fact that this is a moon card. The moon has cycles, you know, the heavy energy comes and goes, the light energy comes and goes. And I feel like my group number 3s, you just happen to be in a phase of life that could be particularly dark. There is a feeling of struggling to find joy in things that brought you joy before. With the Four of Cups, there's these messages of boredom and dissatisfaction, but it's not giving me the feeling of someone who's like, I have nothing to do, I have nothing that will make me happy. It's like those things are in front of me, and yet I'm struggling to feel called to them, or I'm struggling to feel enthusiastic about them. I'm also thinking, maybe this is just a specific message for some of you, but you may want to look into the difference between burnout and depression, because they can have similar symptoms. But if you resonate with being in this energy, it would be good to know what the difference is so you can understand how to care for yourself better. Because I mean, obviously I don't want to diagnose anybody, but if you thought you were experiencing one and it was actually the other, I can see how that could pose problems. For example, if someone was struggling with depression, but they continue to just say like, oh, I'm just burnt out, like, oh, I just need a break, I just need to rest, that could prevent them from seeking help that they need. Or someone could be really worried, like, am I suffering from depression? And they just, they're just burnt out. And I don't say that to diminish the severity of burnout. Like, that can be a really tough thing to go through. But there's a message for some of you about having a better understanding of what it is that you're dealing with can allow you to help yourself better. But what I can say is that this energy is not going to last forever. What is this romance talking about? I'm going to take another one from this deck. It could be like coming to a place where you can romanticize your life again. There could be a romance budding in your life that brings a spark back to you, or your current romantic partner could be a great source of support. There could be a counterpart who is helping you out of this energy. This is definitely a bit of a heavier one for my group number 3s. Can we get some clarification about this romance message for my group number 3s? Okay, we have the Queen of Cups, and it came out in the upright position. Creative idealist, emotionally connected, being in the flow, deep feelings, empathic, intuitive, psychic, and loving. I feel like this is the energy of both you and a significant counterpart. You have the same energy. You can be receptive of each other. You can understand each other on a deep intuitive level. There's a new connection coming in, or an existing connection that will help you move through this heavy energy. Whether that's through your 3D connection or through a spiritual connection, it will help you move through this. And I want to be very clear that this is not about like using a connection to put a band-aid on how you're feeling or to escape from how you're feeling, because the way it's being worded is it's helping you to move through it. It's helping you to process what you need to process. And the first step of making change in your life is to embrace what is. And there's a connection that is helping you do that. There's a lot of water energy here. Like literally we have water dog, the Queen of Cups, which is a water sign, the Four of Cups, which is a water sign. And then we also have Moonstone, which is a feminine energy. So this emotional, feminine energy, water energy is coming through strongly. Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces placements could be significant. Something about moon signs or Venus signs between you and someone else could be significant as well. And I think there's also a message here of not needing to go through this alone or not needing to heal alone. And I really feel for this group because I think sometimes when we feel like we're in this energetic dark cloud, sometimes we want to isolate because we're like, oh man, like my energy is dark right now and I don't want to bring that darkness to other people. And then, I don't know, it just feels, I feel for you, group number 3, but you don't have to go through this alone. So we're shuffling your cat tarot and we're going to see what else your guides want you to know right now. We have, oh, this is the 6 of Swords, which is literally the card that talks about a tough situation getting better. And is also, it's not a water card, but generally the image on it is people traversing water in a boat. And we often use the expression moving to more peaceful waters with this card. And waters are symbolic of your emotions. So this is literally the card that talks about an emotional transition from being emotionally turbulent to being emotionally peaceful. So if you needed even more confirmation that this is not going to last forever, it's right here. There will be a time where you can, okay, interesting. What I need to do before we even move on is to validate and normalize what you are going through. Because what we're not going to do is pathologize your emotional experience. And it doesn't matter if you're in the spiritual community or the non-spiritual community. These types of darker emotions and unpleasant emotions do get pathologized, and we feel like there's something wrong with you as an individual and you need to figure out your shit. When a lot of the time, these emotions are normal and appropriate responses to what is going on in our life, in our relationships, in the world. And I think there's a need to validate what you are going through. We're not going to sit here and be like, oh, just be positive. Oh, just look on the bright side of things. That's not what we need. There's a lot to process and emotionally, and that may not be easy work, but processing emotions is difficult, but trying to bypass them is even more difficult in the long run. There was a message coming through that one day you will be able to look back on your past or look back on things that happened and not have the same emotional triggers anymore. But that's something that will come organically with time. And that's not a place you can force yourself to rush to. Getting out of your usual environment could be helpful. Even if it's just going for a drive, going to a friend's house, going on a short trip, just getting out of your usual space could help you to get out of a rut. Also, hearing from people who are very different from you, or whether it's hearing their guidance or just hearing about their life, something that could help you get out of your bubble. We talk a lot, and I say this a lot too, about like go within, be in your inner world, be with yourself. But if your inner world is particularly tumultuous at this time and it doesn't feel safe, there's no need to dive into it before you feel safe or before you feel ready to do so. And if you feel that you need distraction, or you need another perspective, or like something to take your mind off of things, there's nothing to be ashamed of when it comes to that. Some of you could be coming to a realization that you truly long for romance in your life. Whether that's a romantic connection with another person, or again, just like feeling the romance of your life, feeling like life is romantic and life is beautiful. It feels like you're being honest with yourself of, yeah, I really want that. What else do group number 3's guides have to say? The lovers, and it's so, that's gonna make me cry. That's so sweet. This particular image, the way the cats are hugging and nestled up together, and the way they're under the sun. Yeah, there's really, really a feeling of not having to go through this alone. And if right now you feel that you don't have somebody to lean on, your guides are going to bring someone to you or show you people who are already in your life who are willing to receive you and willing to hold you and embrace you as you are right now. The sun has a feeling of bringing things to light, exposing things. So you can expose how you're truly feeling and be embraced for that. You're being embraced for all of who you are because of who you are, not being embraced in spite of something, quote unquote. Strong confirmation here of a divine romantic counterpart for those of you who are looking for that or who are in this type of connection. There's a strong confirmation there. It's also really, really important to understand that being in a dark place or processing darker emotions or energies is not low vibrational, is not negative, because as I and I think many others say, the highest vibration is authenticity. To equate these kind of emotions with being low vibrational or of being incompatible with manifesting, I feel like is really harmful. We have the King of Wands, and I love that the King of Wands is in a playful energy. Okay, so I'm hearing pep in your step, creative energy coming back. Yeah, and again, there's a message of getting out of your bubble or getting out of your usual environment will be really beneficial for you. if you can, actually, it doesn't even have to be travel. It doesn't have to be, you know, spending money and going somewhere far away. It could just be going to hang out with someone or attending an event or seeing what's going on in the community, socializing, like coming out of your shell will be helpful. It will make you feel better than you might imagine. And I'm also thinking of, I think this is the second time I've quoted Megan Thee Stallion in today's reading, but she has a song called Anxiety, and one of the lines is bad bitches have bad days too. That's kind of like, oh, dog barking outside. Confirmation. That's kind of the main hook of the song. And I think this King of Wands wants you to know, like, regardless of what you're going through, regardless of how you may be feeling these days, like, you're still badass, you're still cool and creative and strong, and whatever you're going through doesn't negate that. I think there's a shift in mindset from like, I just want to feel like myself again, to I am myself. I am always myself, and I meet myself wherever I am. Okay, we have two coming out at the same time. We have the Queen of Swords and we have the Ace of Pentacles. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Swords. Yeah, one day you will be able to detach from these emotions. And there's something, I don't know if my group number 3s, if you've gone through some kind of grief or heartbreak, but there's this message that continues to come up about like one day you would be able to look back on that. And it's not that you don't care anymore, but you're able to look back on it and not cry, for example, or not have that same emotional reaction. You're able to look back on it in a sort of not even detached, but in a more calm way, in a more poised way, because it's been processed and it's been moved through. And I think your guides do want to remind you of how your mind can definitely play tricks on you when you're going through a tough time and can convince you that this is going to last forever, but nothing does. This is a moon card again, so this is like a phase of your healing journey. What you're going through right now is actually a part of your healing. Some of you may think that you're not healing, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. You're actively healing as we speak. You're actively moving through the difficult energies as we speak. And with this Ace of Pentacles here, I do feel like your spirit guides are saying there will be a reward, so to speak, at the end of all of this. And what I mean by reward is just that you'll see that everything was worth it. And you'll see some form of payoff for the tough time that you went through. And that means that you're not going through this for nothing. And nothing you have been through is a waste. You will be blessed with a new and fulfilling chapter. With the Ace of Pentacles here, you could be blessed materially in the next chapter of your life. Blessings coming in related to your career, your finances, a new project that makes you really happy. This could be, the Ace of Pentacles could also be the grounding of something into your reality. So making a dream manifest, making a dream materialize itself, making a dream ground itself in your reality. I don't say this to diminish what you're going through right now, but this chapter, this current difficult chapter, at the end of the day will be just one chapter out of the many that you go through in this life. And it won't always sting in the same way. It won't always be heavy in the same way. If I use myself as an example, there are certain eras of my life where I was really going through it mentally and emotionally, but when I look back on them now, I can recognize, like, yeah, that was a pretty dark time for me, but I can look back without being transported back to that darkness and feeling the emotions in that same rawness. In fact, now I can look back on that time and remember all of the happy memories, and it weirdly feels nostalgic sometimes. So I think you'll be able to disconnect from the raw pain, and you'll be able to look back and say, like, yes, that was a tough time, and acknowledge that, but it won't hurt in the same way, or it won't sting in the same way, and you'll be able to be rooted in the present, where now you have all of these rewards and all of these fruits of your labor. You know, I don't want to pry too deeply into whatever struggle you're going through, because I know that things like this can be deeply personal, but I do want to say that the struggles will be worth it, and your future is abundant, and there's love in your future. There's love in your future, and there's real intimacy in your future, perhaps even a soulmate or a divine counterpart in your future. Or perhaps they're already in your life and you're getting closer, you're coming into a union or a reunion if that's something you want. So finally, we are going to look at these oracle cards for any last messages or advice that your guides have for you. We have the Out of Bounds Moon with boundaries. So this may be a period of your life where your boundaries are a little bit different, and I think your guides are saying allow yourself the grace to change your boundaries. Boundaries should be flexible, and they should be based on how you are feeling in that particular moment rather than a hard and fast rule. They don't have to be consistent. They should fluctuate with you. And so if you need more boundaries or less boundaries or whatever it is, don't be afraid of changing them if you feel that that can help you. Wow. We have the Cave, and this looks like someone's in a womb. It says birth, rebirth. This is the beginning of something new. I'm thinking about what a painful process birth is for both the mother and the baby. I think it can be quite a painful and intense process. And so if you're going through pain or darkness right now, it could be that you are being born, so to speak, or you're going through a rebirth. This is the start of something new, and some of the pain you're feeling could be like a growing pain or a transitional pain or the pain of rebirth. We have turmeric with the keyword belief. The trigger statement is, it is too late. The true statement is, I am free to believe. You are clearing away beliefs, energy, and memories that no longer serve you, so the necessary decisions will be made. I'm thinking of that message earlier in the reading. Moving through your emotions is hard, but suppressing them in the grand scheme of things is harder. And there's also a message here about starting over or coming out of your comfort zone is hard, but staying where you are when you're no longer satisfied in the grand scheme of things is harder. Life is difficult. Many things in life are difficult. And this is a reality of life, but we have the power to choose our difficulty. We have the power to choose what pain we go through. And we can choose one that serves us. Not all pain is created equal. Some of it is transformative. Some of it leads to rebirth. Some of it leads to enlightenment. Some of it leads to growth, to rewards, to abundance. And some of it is, I'm hearing, futile, or it just leads to further stagnation or further discomfort. There's a pain, oh wow, this is like kind of a dramatic wording, but there's like a pain that begets, I'm hearing, a pain that brings glory and pain that just brings more pain. And you can choose the pain of starting over versus the pain of staying in your comfort zone. The pain of speaking what's in your heart and exposing your truth versus the pain of keeping it all bottled up inside. The pain of processing your emotions versus the pain of suppressing them. Like sometimes that discomfort is inevitable, but you can choose which one is going to serve you and which one is going to lead to your transformation. And that's how you can keep your agency in difficult times. You are clearing away beliefs, energy, and memories that no longer serve you, so the necessary decisions will be made. And then finally, we have a spirit cat card for you. Resilience. Wow. Meet Golden. He really knows how to absorb the sunshine even after some rough patches. He has faced the lonely, hungry alleys, losing those he loved through both chance and betrayal. He allows his feelings of sadness, grief, disappointment, and failure to flow through him and pass as everything does. He is present with the fullness of life, the complete spectrum of experience. Even in the deepest, coldest night, there is a golden sun in his heart to sustain him. Trust in your resilience. Keep moving, keep accepting, and keep growing. The tide is turning. Oh my God, that's like everything we've been talking about. And I'm blown away that the last phrase is the tide is turning with all of the water messages we've been receiving. We spoke about going on a little trip or changing your environment. Being by the sea or being by a body of water or bathing in a body of water could be very healing for you. But I really don't think I have much to add to this message because it's just so, it encapsulates everything so perfectly. Golden retrievers could be significant, or is this like golden lab or something like that? Someone with golden retriever energy. But I think that those are all the messages. And I just saw 3232. That could be a significant number for you. Group number 3, it looks like my camera's about to overheat. So I will try to make the outro quick, but if it cuts off, I love you so much, and thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you, and thank you so much to your guides for facilitating these messages. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. If you're interested in my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where we now have over 100 exclusive readings, plus 2 new ones every month, just like the ones here on my channel. And you can choose the topics for the new ones, so I'll have that linked down below. And my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video, that is an original song. I'll also have my latest release linked down below. Thank you so much for your support, and I'm sending so much love to you, your higher self, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on Earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!